Alright, welcome back to Slay the Spire. My name's Alan, and I'm here with Donna today, and I'm going to do an over-explain run. I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. So we're just going to start a new game, and I'm going to turn it down to Ascension 0, since she's not very familiar with the game, and maybe this will help everybody out there who's not familiar with the game to help them get better. Okay, so Donna, what we have is we have different characters. This would be the first character that you'd have available. It's the Ironclad. The Ironclad,
Soul to soul to harness demonic energies.
yeah,
Okay.
soul to soul to harness demonic energies. And he's more about trading life for dealing damage. That's kind of his shtick.
Okay.
We have the Silent, and she is a huntress from the Foglands who eradicates foes with daggers and poisons. Her.
Okay.
She's more about being more defensive and using poison, often, or daggers, as it says. And then we have the Defect. It's a robot, automaton. And the Defect is more centered on orbs. And the orbs are... They do static things. You can see the orbs here. You have the electric orb, and the ice orb, and the dark orb, and the energy orb. Anyway, they use those orbs to do static effects every single turn.
Okay. So their little bonus thing, like which.
So like.
What's more, like the first guy was something about.
Yeah.
Extra.
So each one of the character classes start with a beginning relic. Okay. So to start with, the Ironclad has Burning Blood. That's his starting relic, and at the end of combat he heals 6. The Silent has the Ring of the Snake, which lets her draw 2 additional cards at the start of combat. And the Defect starts with the Crack Core, which lets him channel 1 lightning orb. So he starts the combat with 1 lightning orb already in play.
Okay. Which would be more beneficial?
Since you're new to the game, let's just start with the Ironclad, maybe.
Because he can heal, and I'll probably be.
Well, it's which if you started this game from scratch, this is the only character you'd have available to you. So we'll turn Ascension off. Make sure that it's on 0. We're just turning Ascension off. Just turn Ascension off altogether. So it'll start at 0. Alright, and then we'll start up the game. So we start here in Act 1, and we have to pick our bonus. So the 4 bonuses we have are obtain a random colorless card. Uncommon. Your enemies have 3 have only 1 hit point, or obtain a curse and choose a rare card to obtain. And then lose your starting relic and obtain a boss relic. So you probably don't know what any of these mean.
I don't.
But the lose your starting relic as the Ironclad you almost never want to do because his starting relic is so good.
Okay.
Obtaining a curse early on, a curse junks up your deck, and this is what you start with as the Ironclad. So these are your 10 starter cards as the Ironclad. They either deal damage or block. The only thing that's notable is Bash, which gives creatures vulnerable, which makes them take 50% more damage from their attacks. From your attacks.
Okay.
And what I do is when I have this option, I'll look at the map. So we can look at the map before we start it. So we look through here and we can see who the boss will be. Slime boss. Slime boss is kind of one of the tougher bosses. Maybe not on Ascension 0, but certainly later on. And then we have to try to figure out the path we want to take. So what you can do is these are possibly not enemies. The question marks are not enemies per se. They could be events, they could be enemies, or they could be merchants. That's the options that they can be. If they're most likely enemies, I think it starts at 10% of them being enemy, then it goes to 30, then it goes to 60. If you don't get an enemy right away. So what we could do is take the option to give enemies one hit point, and then we could start up this path and try to snipe this elite. Or we could go, actually, might be better to go the other way, but this way has the more question marks. There's 4 question marks. One of these will most likely be an enemy, but it's not a guarantee. The major problem with that idea is that you want to try to get stronger. Each time you defeat an enemy, you get gold and you get a card. And the cards with the Ironclad, getting a rare card with an Ironclad is very, very useful. There are a few Ironclad cards that just break the game, that just make the game super easy.
Okay, so one of the first 2, right?
Yeah. I mean, what it does is it goes down in order of risk versus reward is what's going on here. That's why it's in this order.
Okay.
And honestly, this one is pretty safe. The first 2 are pretty safe. This one, since you don't know which... It says choose a rare card to obtain, but you're getting a curse. So we don't know what the curse could be. The curse could be really bad, and with a small deck, it could be just horrendous. Now, we can get rid of the curse, but it's going to cost 50 gold to get rid of the curse. And that's going to keep us from getting rid of something else. So what are you kind of leaning toward?
So the enemies in your next 3 combats have 1 HP. That means that they would already have damage against them when I got there, right?
Right. Yeah. They just have 1 hit point, so all you have to do is play one of these strike cards or bash, and they're dead. As long as you draw 1, and since you're drawing 5 cards at least, you're guaranteed to have 1 attack card in your hand.
What does the colorless mean? What is random colorless?
So right now, the colorless cards are not specific to any of the Ironclad, the Defect, or the Silent. They are just for everyone. And they have to be bought at a shop or gained at an event. They're not anything that you would ever be able to win through fighting.
Okay.
There are a few good uncommon colorless cards, but often they're not that useful. Sometimes they could just be, the main thing is it's random, so you don't know what it is. Right. It could be completely useless to your deck.
Okay, so I think I would pick the second one.
Let's go with the second one. I think I would too. So that gives us this Meow's Lament. This big undead whale here is Meow.
Okay.
And he resurrects you as you die.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to choose this path here. We're going to go up here, try to snipe the elite, and then if we're strong enough, we may go for this elite as well. If not, we'll go this way and go to a shop. So, let's start off. Let's do it.
Okay.
Turn, leave. Okay, so we get a starter hand of 5 cards, and we can look at what cards are coming up to be played next, and this is what's in our discard pile. And we'll just play that. This will be pretty straightforward. We got gold, and then we get to choose a card. So this is kind of where the choice, what to choose, kind of comes up. Sometimes it's hard at the very beginning of the game to figure out what you want to pick. In general, you want to try to get damage cards, but since it's so early, you don't have a real concept for what your deck can do. Heavy Blade works really good if you have strength enhancing cards, things that improve the strength.
So like the first one.
Like this, yeah. You gain 2 strength and then you lose it. And this attacks everybody. And these are all... You can upgrade your cards in this game. Mm-hmm. So these are just the starter... These are common cards as well. This gray border means it's common.
Okay.
And you can see on your cards, you can view their upgrades. So you can see when we go to a rest site, we can improve the value of the card permanently. Oh, we also have beta art. Mm-hmm. So if you were playing this game, and very importantly, you also have the option to skip. So if all these cards are garbage and you think they're not going to work with your deck, you can always skip them.
And you just don't get one at all?
You just don't get a card.
Mm.
And this is a deck builder, so sometimes you don't want to add bad cards to your deck because they're just useless or they don't function well.
Okay. I would probably say the first one.
Flex?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Should I not?
Well, I mean, Flex is not a bad choice. I mean, we can definitely try Flex. Cleave is probably what I would pick. Just Cleave or Heavy Blade. Heavy Blade is nice if you can get strength enhancing cards. Cleave is useful against like hallway fights. The hallway fights are just the non-boss monsters.
Mm. But what do the numbers in the corners mean?
The numbers in the quarters are how much energy it takes to cast or use the card.
Okay.
So this one does take 0, so it can be played, and since we don't have any more energy than 3, it's useful. We'll go ahead and go with Flex. Any of these cards would probably be okay. I would probably go with Heavy Blade, but yeah, we'll try Flex out. So here we have an event. Our first event. The Serpent. You walk into a room to find a large hole in the ground. As you approach the hole, an enormous serpent creature appears within. Ho ho, hello, hello. What do we have here? Hello, adventurer. I ask a simple question. The most fulfilling of our lives is that which you can, in which you can buy anything. Do you agree? So if we accept this, we get a curse. But we get 175 gold. And it takes 50 gold and Ascension 0 to take care of the curse. But we're going to have to deal with the curse until we can get to a shop.
And the curse is
The
doubt?
curse is doubt. It's unplayable, so if it's in your hand, you just can't play it. And at the end of the turn, it gives you 1 week, which means you do less damage on your attacks for 1 turn. 1 week means 1 turn of being weak. And the week doesn't apply. It happens at the end of your turn. So if you have a way to get rid of doubt or something like that, you can make sure that you're not affected by it. It's sometimes just a dead card.
So, like, how badly do we need the gold? Like, are there other opportunities to get gold?
Every time you win a fight, you get gold.
Okay.
We could change our path, but I really wouldn't want to get to the shop. One of these question marks could also be a shop, but they could not be a shop.
So,
I mean, this is a guaranteed shop up here, so the next few we're going to have maybe no fights coming up. Maybe we'll have a fight, maybe we'll have a merchant. We'll almost certainly have one fight, but it has 1 hit point, so doubt won't really affect us, most likely.
So you think we should take the gold and the curse?
Take the gold and the curse? What would you do, though, without knowing any better? Would you just disagree to...
Well, just because I don't know necessarily how the curse would affect me, I would be tempted to disagree. But if I need the gold, then...
Well, let's go ahead and agree and take the gold and take the curse. And we'll see how it works. It is a risk, but I think it may pay off. Let's try it. So here, we have another event. It's a cleric. A strange blue humanoid with a golden helm approaches you with a huge smile. Hello, friend. I'm a cleric. Are you interested in my services? The creature shouts loudly. Okay, well, we are, because we want to remove a card from our deck for 50 gold and just remove the curse.
Okay.
There we go.
That was easy enough.
Easy enough. Let's go to the next event. Okay, so here we have... we come across a golden idol and we don't see any... So we have 2 options. Either to take the golden idol, which you wouldn't know what the golden idol does, but I do. Mm-hmm. It gives you 25% more gold every time you get gold.
Okay.
But you're going to have... There's something bad that will happen when you take this.
Something bad will happen just when I take it?
When you take
not
this...
Not like every time you use it or anything like that?
No, not every time you use it. Just one time, there'll be 3 options of something bad.
Okay.
So, let's go ahead and take it.
Yeah, take it.
And then we have choices. So, we could either get a curse, which is just unplayable. It doesn't do anything to us, but it's unplayable. We can just take 20 damage, or we can lose 6 max health. Since we haven't taken any damage, I think we should take the 20 damage because we will heal it back because guys have 1 hit point and we can beat them in 1 round, so we'll get 6 back. And since we're unhurt at this point and it's unlikely that anything's going to damage us, I think this is the best option. Now, if you're playing this game on higher ascensions, I would say often this is the best choice to take just 6 max hit point loss. This is often what I'll take at Ascension 20, but at this Ascension I would... And even in this situation, at Ascension 20, I'd probably go ahead and just take the damage.
Is the 80-80, is that the health?
80-80s are hit points.
Oh, okay.
If you run out, you die.
Okay. And is that what's going to take a hit when I take damage?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd go down to 60 out of 80.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Take some damage?
Yeah.
Okay. Throw yourself a boulder with everything you have. When the dust clears, you make your safe way out. Okay. So we have this one. This will most certainly be a fight. Let's see. Nope, it's not. Great. So we have Entropic Brew, which fills all your empty potion slots with random potions. We have Snacko Oil, which makes you confused. What confusion does is it makes all of your cards randomly cost between 0 and 3. So that's really bad at the beginning, but it's useful when your deck is filled with higher cast cards. Because if you have a bunch of 3 cards or 2 cards, it makes those a lot more useful. Weak makes the enemy weak for 3 rounds. It means they do less damage. They do 25% less damage from attacks. Very, very useful on bosses or other things that do a lot of damage. So now, we get to fight our first elite. And it's weak. So we have sentries. We just... Not a whole lot of decision making going on here. Just attack them all and they die. Okay, so we get 32 gold. We get 8 more gold because of the idol. We have the question card, which gives us 1 additional card in future fights. We have the ancient potion. I'm going to go ahead and discard the Snecko oil. We have the option to discard it, so we'll just discard it and put the ancient potion in there, which gives you artifact. An artifact negates your next debuff. Your debuff would be like weak or vulnerable or things like that. Frail. Okay, so now we have options. So this blue means it's uncommon, and it's an X casting cost, which the X is it consumes the entirety of your energy. You start the round with 3 energy. So if you have 3 energy, it just multiplies. It does 5 that many times.
Okay.
Body slam deals damage equal to your block, and it upgrades to a 0 cost. And we already have flex.
So probably the first one since it's rare.
I would also pick the first one. It's really good anyway, and it works with our flex. Because the way the flex will work is it will just give 2... It doesn't cost anything, so it just increases all of our damage by 2. And so we'll do 7 damage X amount of times. Okay. If we have flex in our hand. So we'll take Whirlwind. Continue on. Now we have a rest site. So we have the options of recalling, which gives you the ruby key, which is used to fight the heart. You only need one of the. You have to have 3 keys to beat the heart. 1 of each red, blue, and green. You get a key for resting. Instead of resting, if you choose to not take one of these options, you can take recall to get a key. Then one time you have to avoid picking up a treasure chest to get the blue key. And to get the green key, you have to beat a super elite. But right now we're not really wanting to fight the heart this time. So we're going to go ahead and pick one of these 2 options, and we have Rest, which gives you 24 hit points. You heal that much. And then we have Smith. So, because you probably don't know, we're not down that much. We're down 14. So, we probably don't want to rest. We're probably going to Smith. Because the smithing will give us a better shot at what we would want to do. So looking at our cards, you can kind of see what they upgrade to. So strike just does 3 more damage. The defend blocks for 3 more defense. Then we get into the more interesting choices. We have bash, which does 2 more damage, and it applies another round of vulnerable. This is a good choice often. If you're not sure, if you're just starting the game and you're not sure and you only have 1 card to upgrade, this is often the card you want to upgrade. But we also have Whirlwind, which will just do 3 more damage. You can only upgrade, most cards can only be upgraded 1 time. So once we upgrade it, it's done. We don't get any further upgrade benefits. And this makes it, flex becomes 4 strength instead of just 2 strength. So it doubles up in usefulness. So you honestly really, most of the time, you're only going to pick between these 3 cards and really between these 2. I mean, flex is an option. It is certainly an option. But which one would you think?
Show me again what they upgrade to.
Yeah. So Bash, when Bash becomes Bash Plus, it gives you an extra point of vulnerable, which means you do 50% more damage to enemies for the next 3 rounds. Not only the current round plus 2 more. And you do 2 more damage. And then Whirlwind does just 3 more damage per energy.
I don't know. Kind of seems like Bash maybe adds more. You think?
Bash adds more? Well, there's no real wrong choice here, so yeah, we'll go with Bash. Well, I think any of these two is a good choice, and this one is probably as good as either. We're gonna get both of them done before we get to the slime boss. Okay. So we've used the last. Here's Whirlwind. Alright. Gold. And then we have to decide, do we want to trade Essence of Steel for anything? It's kind of tough. I don't know. Weak is probably better than Essence of Steel, but the Ancient Pot may not be. We'll just skip it. Now we have 4 cards to choose from. So we have Iron Wave, which does 5 block, 5 damage. We have Body Slam, which deals damage equal to your current block. We have Uppercut, which is an uncommon card, which does 13 damage, 1 weak, and 1 vulnerable. And then we have Armaments. This is an interesting card. It gives you 5 block, and it upgrades a card in your hand for the rest of combat. Not for the rest of the game, but just for the combat that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
We can review our deck to see what we have.
Uppercut.
Uppercut? I think Uppercut's good. Uppercut's good. Armaments would be good as well. We'll go with Uppercut. Sure. We'll skip the potion. Now, I guess either way we go, we're going to be fighting somebody. So I'll just go here. So now this is the treasure chest. And we get the gold. And see, here's the key that you could get. But if you get the key, you don't get the relic. And up here's your relics. So the Dreamcatcher, when you rest, you can add a card to your deck. It makes resting a better option. We'll take the Dreamcatcher. Alright, now we'll fight. This is the Bird Cultist. So we're playing the Strength to gain the Strength, and then we'll play the Strike to deal damage. He's not attacking us this round, so we'll just swing, and we'll end our turn because blocking, he's not attacking. Okay, now we got a little more options. Okay, we can bash for 10, we can uppercut to reduce the amount of damage, and we probably want to certainly defend. We don't have to. And then we can attack for 15. We can also uppercut, then strike. The thing about the cultist is every turn, at the end of each turn, he gains 3 strength. So next turn he'll attack for 9, 12, and so forth.
Okay.
So he just progressively, you have to end the fight before he gets so powerful that you can't stop him. So probably what we'll do here is just, because we need to put some damage on him, we would start with the bash and then just strike him. The reason why we're striking instead of using Whirlwind is this only does 5 and this does 6. So it does 9. It's 50% more, three more damage. We're just going to go ahead and take the 6 points to the face. Alright, now, okay, 27. So we just do the math here. Each one of these does 9, so we've got it.
Okay.
We don't have to... And he's dead. So liquid bronze. Now we've got another choice. So thorns, what thorns does is every time someone attacks you, they take 3 damage. It's very useful against a boss. It's incredibly useful against the heart, because the heart attacks you 15 times. And regardless if they do any damage, if they attack you 15 times but they do 0, they still take damage every time they swing on you. So I'm not really sure what to pick here. I think I'm going to go ahead and drop this ancient potion and grab the liquid bronze. I think it's more useful. And we'll look at our cards. Okay. So we have Twin Strike, which does 5 damage twice. Pretty self-explanatory. Boomerang, Sword Boomerang, which does 3 damage to a random enemy 3 times. We have Power Through, which gives us 2 wounds. Wounds are unplayable cards, and they do not go away. They're in your deck for the rest of the combat. I guess they don't last the game, but they last the combat.
Okay.
And it gives you 15 block. And then we have Inflame, which just is a power. It's one of the few. We haven't seen a power yet. But a power once played stays played, and it will give you 2 strength for the rest of the combat.
Just the combat.
Just the combat. Most things that give you permanent strength are not cards, they are relics. So which one do you think you would pick?
So, do the wounds, what do they... I don't understand the wounds, I don't get.
Okay, the wounds are unplayable cards.
Right.
So they're just a card that will show up in your hand and they say wound. And then when you reshuffle your deck, you'll still have those wounds for the rest of the combat. There are cards that the Ironclad has that will eliminate cards from your hand permanently. It'll clear them out, thin your deck out. And if we had something like that, it would make that not so bad. There's also a power called Evolve that if you draw a status card, which would be like a wound, then you could draw an additional card, that would also make this card not so bad. You would take this card if you need to, if you're worried about a big attack that is going to kill you.
So we're not worried about that yet?
We're not really worried about that yet. We've got enough health. We'll probably be able to beat the slime boss without having to block his big attack.
Okay. So maybe they gain 2 strength?
I think so.
Okay.
These are commons. This would be good if we already had this. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good with flex. But this just works on our... We're building towards strength right now, so if we find another heavy blade, we'll go ahead and pick it up, probably.
Okay.
So, we have another choice. We fall into a puddle. It's made of slime goop. So we can either choose to gain gold and lose hit points, or just lose 35 gold.
There's 11.
Losing 11.
I don't know. Should we, typically take gold anytime we can, or?
I would typically take this gold for 11 health as the Ironclad because it can self-heal, and we're also not that far down.
Yeah.
If we were under half, I would say don't do it, but yeah, usually just take the money on this one. Feeling the sting of goop as prolonged exposure starts to melt away your skin. You manage to fish out the gold. Now we fight an elite. Ooh. This guy's killed me a lot. This is the Gremlin Knob. And what he does is he's going to buff himself. Go ahead and let him buff himself. Dude, this first turn's pretty easy. I'm going to do that real quick. End our turn. So he used Enrage. And every time we use a skill, he gains 2 strength. So what we're going to do is we're going to weaken him so he doesn't do as much damage. And we want to probably cast Flame. So we have 2 damage. And we have to choose between using Bash or using Uppercut. And we'll probably lean toward Bash because we have to kill him off before he kills us.
Okay.
So, take 10. Now, say if I use Flex here, he's going to gain 2 strength.
He'll gain 2 strength?
He'll gain 2 strength.
Oh.
Because of his Enrage ability. So we did. So we could do that, or we could just use a defend and block some of the damage. He'll gain 2 strength, but he has 53 hit points. We know which next cards we have next. Which we have Whirlwind, and we have some strikes. So we've got damage coming in for the next round. He has 53 hit points. These do will do. If you're not sure how much, if you're kind of having a problem with the math, you can see how much damage you're going to do with the 50%. The card itself doesn't show it, but if you do this, it'll show the damage that you will do.
Okay.
We would do slightly more if we flex. Flex is going to do at least, I guess it's going to do 6 more points of damage. We're already doing 12. It'll take him to 31. And then the next round, we won't be able to finish him off. So we'll be taking at least 1 more round if we don't use a potion or something. What I would do, I think, I don't know if I'd block or not. I certainly wouldn't use flex. I may just, what I would do is probably just strike, just use 2 strikes and then pass.
Okay.
Just take the damage. We're like 2 away from dealing enough damage for lethal. So awful.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So that's 22. Oh, we've got enough to kill him. Because we can go here, and then use that, and he's dead. So he was dead. Alright. So gold, and this just randomly upgrades 2 skills. All we have is defend, so it makes our defense better. Oh.
Can we pause the video?
All right, we're gonna end it here, and we were gonna try to get through the act, but we weren't able to. But we'll get back with you. We'll do a part 2. Thanks for watching, and you have a good rest of your day.